So you want to learn how to shoot expired film? Well, you've come to the right place because I'm your guy to help you learn how to shoot expired film. If you're new here, my name is Ebby. I'm a film shooter based in Toronto, Canada. On this channel, we'll talk about everything film, film cameras, expired film, and everything in between. If that's something you're into, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. But for now, let's jump right into this video. In this video, I'm going to be covering three main points: what, why, and how. So if you want to jump around different sections and if you just want to learn how to shoot expired film, I'm going to have timestamps right under the like button in the description down below. So make sure you hit that so you can jump around to the different sections that you want to learn about. First of all, I'm going to talk about what is expired film. Now, I want you to think of expired film like expired milk, except that you can still use it. Expired film is film that is past its prime. When I say past its prime, I want you to think about sharpness, think about color, think about dynamic range. Milk has a certain date when it's expired. Film also has a certain date when it's expired, which is like 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 years after it's originally made. So when it's past that expiry date, it starts to lose a little bit of its sting, but it doesn't lose all of it. It takes a really, really long time before film loses everything and becomes unusable. The second thing is why. Why would you even shoot expired film? There's already a lot of uncertainty when it comes to shooting film. Why would you want to add another layer of uncertainty on top of everything that film brings in its whole thing? When it comes to different looks on different film stocks, every single film stock is different and they provide different looks that you don't get. So an expired film from film to film can actually be very different. I've shot like a batch of NPS 160 and from row to row, everything look completely different. And that's a lot to do with how film expires over time, how the colors degrade over time, and how different colors respond to different situations. Another thing too is that it's an extra challenge, right? I love to challenge myself in life. I love to challenge myself when it comes to shooting film. I love to challenge myself and just see what I can do. Not knowing all the information about a film, not knowing how the film is going to react, not knowing how it's even going to show up, not knowing if it's going to show up, is an extra level of challenge that just makes it a lot more fun, at least for me. And the last thing is that it's also sometimes cheaper than newer film. I made a whole video talking about how to buy expired film, so feel free to check that out. I'm going to link it up here. But yeah, sometimes you can get it cheaper, sometimes it's more expensive depending on the type of film, if it's no longer production, and some people have a high value for it. Something like Aerochrome, you have to buy it for at least $200, maybe $300, depending on where you find it. Now, when it comes to how to shoot expired film, I'm not going to like literally show you how to shoot expired film. I'm going to tell you the things that you need to know before you go out to shoot expired film. And before I get into these things, the most important thing when it comes to shooting expired film is how the film was stored. If the film wasn't stored properly, most likely it will not come out nicely. I'm going to be talking to you about 5 things you need to know before going out to shoot expired film. And these are just some of my suggestions based on my experience shooting expired film. Take it, use it, maybe not use it. It all depends on you. These are the things that I use, so hopefully you use them too. The first thing you need to know is film ages differently depending on the type of film. So what I mean by that is that black and white ages differently than color, which ages differently than slide film. For the most part, black and white is really, really good to be used in expired formats because black and white ages slower than the other types of film. Color also ages slower than other types of film, and slide film is the worst when it comes to expired film because number one, you don't exactly know how the colors are going to shift, and slide film there's no real latitude, right? If you overexpose, it's done. If you underexpose, it's done. There's no dynamic range when it comes to slide film. So unless you really, really like slide film, I would personally say stay away from expired slide film. Even though I have a bunch of expired slide film, black and white is the safest option when it comes to buying expired film and also shooting expired film. So make sure if you're looking to shoot expired film, start with black and white, then color, and if you must, slide film. The second thing is the 1 stop per decade rule. This is a very important thing when it comes to shooting film, expired film. And this is the one that everyone uses. This is the one that I use whenever I'm shooting. And that's that. Let's say, for example, a film expired in 1993. Right now we're in 2023. So 1993 to 2003 is 10 years, to 2013 20 years, to 2023 30 years. So let's say you have a 400 ISO film. You would drop that by 3 stops. You would either shoot that at 160 or 100 ISO, depending on the type of film it is. If it's black and white, I would shoot it at 160. If it's color, I would shoot it at 100. You can either drop your f-stop or you can drop your ISO sensitivity depending on how you meter the situation that you're shooting. And either way, you have to drop it 2 stops, 3 stops in order to get a proper exposure. The third thing is that if you don't know when the film expired, you need to bracket exposure. What I mean by that is that whenever you're shooting a scene, you'd have to shoot it at 3 or 4 different exposures. So shoot it at whatever you metered it for, depending on the year it expired. Shoot it 1 stop over, shoot it 1 stop under, and then shoot it 2 stops over and maybe 2 stops under. Sometimes you only have 1 roll of a particular film stock that you found in expired film state, and you may not have the luxury to do all these 1 stop or 2 stops over, but I would suggest shoot it at how you metered it based on the expiry date, 1 stop over and 1 stop under, just so you can see which is the best result. The next thing is use a camera you can trust. The camera that you use to shoot expired film is very important because you don't want a camera that you just bought that's untested, that you don't trust to give you proper exposure. You want to make sure that the camera that you're using is right, everything is perfect, the f-stop is perfect, everything gives you perfect results. Cameras that you've used for a very long time and is really, really reliable. That way you know that any issues that come up after development either has to do with the film or the development process. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to expired film and how to shoot it is development. Development is as important as shooting when it comes to expired film. Sometimes when it even comes to expired film, a lot of these films can't even be developed. If you're looking at Kodachrome, or if you're looking at a lot of the different types of films that Kodak and other companies have made in the past, they're made for different types of development processes. So you have to keep that in mind, number one, when buying, and also when shooting, and also when developing. Also, if you don't develop your film yourself, if you drop it off at a lab, I would suggest letting them know that this is expired film. And obviously they'll take a look at the film, they'll know that this is some sort of expired film, but it's good to let them know just so they can prepare and do anything else that they need to do when it comes to developing film. For the most part, it shouldn't matter, but it's also good to let them know. And that's all the tips I have for you when it comes to shooting expired film. On this channel in the past, I've talked about different film stocks that I've shot when it comes to expired film. Again, I'll link them up here and also down in the description right under the like button. In the future, I'm going to be making a bunch of videos talking about different expired films that I've shot or haven't shot yet, and talking about my experiences shooting with them. So make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe to this channel so you can keep an eye on those expired film videos. If this is something you're into, I'm going to be making a blog post on my blog, filmstockgirl.com, so feel free to check it out, again, in the description down below. That brings me to the end of this video. If this video has brought you any value, please make sure you do the things. Hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel, as this goes a long way, a very long way, to making sure I produce more content like this. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to all my new subscribers. I just recently went over 600 subscribers. So thank you very much. If you're new to this channel, I appreciate all your likes, your subscribes, your comments. It really, really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.